Sure, I'm on. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, everybody. Did y'all miss me? Did you miss me? Because I'm telling you right now, that was a much needed break for the month of September. And I am so excited to be back to have another live episode of Transplant Talk with Naishanda. How y'all been doing? How y'all been doing? Thank you, hey Cedria. You know, I miss y'all. I did miss everyone. I did miss doing the show, but sometimes you gotta take a personal break and just kind of regroup and get your life back together. And I must have chose the wrong time today to come back on because y'all know school is back in. And who name does all the kids know now? Miss Larimore. Miss Larimore, can I turn in my work? Can I turn in my work? Can I turn in my work? Your work is late now. But can I still turn it in? You know, we begin to beg and plead, and it's just like, what? You ain't known me a few weeks ago. You wouldn't ask me no questions a few weeks ago, and now here you go. So it's that kind of crazy going on. So if you have a child at home and they know grades getting ready to go in, and you probably putting the pressure all on them, I do understand because I'm putting the pressure on them as well. Let me see who's saying hello. And y'all know the routine. Tell me where you from. Where's everybody from? Shout out your state or shout out your city. And let me just say hello to Jerry. Hello, hello. How are you? And what's up, Georgia? Back in the house, Miss Andrea. Oh, hold on, Cedria. Congratulations on your walk. I really, really wanted to be there. I was going to surprise you and come. Howsoever, we had a wedding in Miami that conflicted. So the next time you have one, I would love to come and be a part of it. Okay. So I would love to come and support you. And we never gonna forget Brianna. All right. So hello, Mitchell. Hello, Mitchell. I think I said Mitchell. All right. And hello, Tony. Yes, yes, I miss y'all too. I miss y'all too. All right. Thank you for the welcomes back. And yes, yes, yes. Who is this? Ah, hey, Miss Davis. How you doing? All right. So again, I just wanted to say hello to everyone. And of course, I can't do anything without my parents, Major and Gwendolyn Rollins. They are in Merritt Island near Cocoa Beach. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for always being a part of my show. I love you, love you, love you. And yeah, hello, Mama. Okay, so I want to thank my special sponsor for today, which is Melanie. This is my beautiful, beautiful daughter's, who is also an entrepreneur. So this is Melanie, and she has her own skincare line. So she said, "Mama, I'm gonna sponsor you today." So listen, she told me to tell y'all, don't be ashy. Okay, get your shea butter. You can find her on Facebook. You can also find her on Instagram. She is there, and that is my beautiful oldest baby. She really is an entrepreneur. She really takes after her mama. So if you all have any questions about Melanie, just go ahead and hit her up on Facebook. I greatly appreciate it. Still some more hello. I missed y'all. Okay, I missed y'all so much. So um, of other few little shout outs, congratulations to my nephew, K-Tron, and my new niece, and another niece, um, Shakira. Congratulations. They just got married in September, the end of September. And here's the amazing part, they got married 50 years after my parents got married. My parents got married in 1971. And my nephew got married in 2021, his beautiful wife. And we are expecting another baby. It is a girl. I think her name is Carmen. And it's a girl. So we are excited. Y'all know our family is booming with babies. So we are super excited. Okay, listen, I promise you I won't hold you all long. I have a beautiful, beautiful special guest today, Miss Tanya Felicia. And I'm glad that she's my first guest for the new show. I'm glad she's my first guest for this show. Hey, Andrew. Um, all right, so I'm gonna try to hold it together, y'all. All right, because sometimes I feel like I have PTSD, and if y'all know me, y'all know what I'm talking about. So, my special guest is the sister of Make sure I put their picture up. This is their family. This is I say Miss Pat and Chris, Tanya and Lasagna. This is Chris' parent, his mom, his sisters. And if you all know me, you all know Chris passed away like almost 6 months ago. He passed away April 30th. And we were really close, and he helped me do all of this. Everything that's in this room, this banner he designed for me, the camera that I have, the microphone that I have. That man did it all for me. We were very, very, very close, and I really, really miss him. I really, really miss him. But how we met, he was telling me, about his sister. We actually met in 2015, and then later in 2019, he told me, "Hey, my sister had a transplant," and I'm like, "Yeah, what? You better! I need your sister on my show. Like, what is up? I need to get her on my show." And we never got her on the show while he was alive. And I know there was, a little story that he told me. He's like, they asked me to be an organ donor. I said, mm-mm. I said no. I was like, what? Like, why'd you say no? And we all know that in the multicultural community, it is, it's a challenge, and it's something that we don't know, and it's something that we don't talk about. So although he's not here, thank you, y'all. Thank y'all. Although he's not here, she is still here to tell her story. And again, shout out to Mom and Sonia and Miss Pat and Sonia. But when I tell y'all, these ladies have been nothing but kind and gracious to me. They will call and text me and say, "Hey, how you doing?" I talk to his mom I call and I check on his mom, and she'll call and send me a message. So I have nothing but love for these ladies, because when everybody went away, they still around. And I tell you, that's always important. That is always important. That it's not the 2 weeks after somebody passed away, it's months after that somebody leaves you. So I'm gonna stop running my mouth. Y'all know it's been a minute since I was able to talk to y'all. Thank you, KA Pullins. Yeah, shout out to Chris. Thanks, Dad. Chris and my dad, the laughter that they had with each other, it was priceless. It was priceless. So I'm going to bring on Miss Tanya right now. And I need y'all to welcome her to the show. Give her some hearts, give her some love. She is telling her story the way she knows it, because it was her life, right? So we're going to bring her on. She is actually here in Jacksonville at her home. And so we're going to bring her on so that you all can ask her some questions yourself. Okay. Hi, Tanya.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am great and I'm honored to be on your show. I really
Thank,
appreciate you bringing me on.
thank
Hello,
you.
everyone. Even though I can't see who's on, but hello, everyone that came in. I know I sent out some invites to my friends and family to join
Mhm.
us. And so I'm
Oh,
just honored to be here. I
mhm.
want to also start out by saying that if it wasn't for my brother, I wouldn't know Naishanda.
Right.
So I think he called me or my mom called me. You were over at maybe at her house or somewhere. And my mom
Mm-hmm.
says, you need to talk to her, his girlfriend, because she does something with kidney transplants. I'm like, really? And so we started talking, and we actually met last year. I think it was
Yeah.
2019.
2019
Yeah, 20, no, 2020.
for
Yeah.
his birthday
Oh,
in 2019 when you were
2019.
in
Okay.
Tampa. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes, okay.
yeah.
And then saw you again last year when you all came to St. Petersburg, where I had just moved, and
Mm-hmm.
saw you all then for his birthday weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and moved to Jacksonville in the end of July because my brother passed in a tragic car accident, and I just felt that I needed to be here with my family, with my mom, to provide that support here. And also, I was by myself in St. Petersburg with no family, and so I made the decision to move here. And I've been with the VA 27 years as a social worker, and it was easy for me to get a job here. And it just all kind of fell into place for me to be in Jacksonville, and I'm happy to be here. And it's just coming back home. I left here, a long time ago, but back
Yeah,
home,
yeah.
and it feels like home. Just being able to see my family every day. I see Naishanda, and we have some plans to get together soon. And so it's just, I just love being here. So yes.
Yes, yes. I can't wait for that. I can't wait. I can't wait to have it. So thank you for sharing a little bit about yourself. But I
Thank
think you missed a few things. She is also an author, guys.
you.
So
Yes.
tell her about your book.
Well, collaboration book, and it's called "A Fatherless Daughter: The Making of a Fatherless Daughter." I was fatherless, not in the sense that I didn't know my father, but fatherless as far as women can be. You didn't know your father at all. You knew your father, but he wasn't present in your life. Or some women were fatherless, and their dads lived in the same house because they didn't have that emotional connection with them. And
Yeah.
so it tells different stories as far as how these women and myself um, grew up without a father, what it meant to be loved by a father who's supposed to be the first man that loves you in your life. So we didn't have that. And it also talks about how it affected some of our relationships with men. Those types of things as far as um, feeling unwanted, feeling that you have to be in charge all the time because those feelings of attachment can also be scary because you don't want to get attached and then that person leaves like your father did. Just different things. And so this is what the book is about. There's also a second edition out now. Angela Carr Patterson.
Mm.
She's a father's daughter, not advocate, above advocate, because I'm trained and certified as a national fatherless daughter advocate, and do speaking engagements to other women and girls to help them to recognize how being fatherless has affected their lives and being able to make those changes that are needed to feel that they are loved and entitled to have happy relationships.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. That is wonderful because we know so many, especially being in education, so many young girls look everywhere they can find for love. So I'm really hoping, when if y'all get an opportunity, um, if y'all get an opportunity to get that book because these young girls do any and everything that they can get some
Mhm.
of the wrong attention, you know.
Yes.
So that is a powerful book. So y'all please we'll make sure that we have the information in the link later so everybody can get that.
Yes.
But let's talk about what we are here for,
Yes.
right? So like as yours is a little different
Yes.
because this is something that you dealt with as a young girl.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. How were you introduced to this road of kidney transplant? How did you become a kidney warrior?
Yes. Well, I was born prematurely. I think I was right at 7 months when I was born. And so, not knowing, of course, my mom not knowing at that time that I, had some kidney issues that we didn't find out until later. I was in the seventh grade, I think I was, and just kind of mentioned that I was, having to go to the bathroom a lot, not, having some energy at sometimes and things like that. And so, saw a primary care doctor, and they sent me to a urologist, and then they sent me to a nephrologist, and that's when they did a ultrasound and found out that I only had one functioning kidney. And so the both kidneys were in there, but the right side kidney never developed. So it was kind of in there, but kind of really, really small and
Okay.
didn't function. And the left kidney never moved to the back. It stayed in the front where it develops, and it's in the pelvic area. And it was only functioning at about 50% at that time.
Okay.
And so once we found that out, then they set me up for regular appointments and different things like that, having to watch my diet, not having too much protein. But as a young person, you really don't pay attention to all those rules and regulations. I could basically ate what I wanted and didn't really think about it. And because I felt well, I felt good. And so I just kind of just ate what I wanted and did what I wanted. I was actually excused from PE because the location of my kidney being in the front, and so I was
Okay.
excused from PE, not having to take gym and things like that. And so just kind of grew up with it, seeing the doctor every year, no problems, anything like that, having to get labs and things like that, maybe every 6 months to a year. And then as time passed, I let's see, 9 years ago, the doctor said that my function was starting to decline even more from 50% to like 30%. And
Okay.
so they were saying that they wanted to get me ready for a transplant. And I was like, for dialysis and transplant. And I said, absolutely not to dialysis. I didn't want to do it. I
Ooh.
was afraid of it. And I just felt that I wasn't ready. In my mind, I wanted to go from where I was to straight to transplant. I didn't want
Transplant.
to, and so I didn't want anything at the in between that. And so I just felt like that's
Okay.
how I want to do it. And he said, well, let's just think about it, and let's just see how things go. And so initially they did the fistula in my arm, left
Mm-hmm.
arm here.
Mm-hmm.
And because it takes time to mature to be able to use. And he said that he didn't want me to not have anything just in case it got to an emergency situation where I needed to have it. So I got the
Mm-hmm.
fistula put in. And then they talked to me about doing peritoneal dialysis because I'm
Okay.
working full time, relatively healthy, where I can do that at home. And so I got the PD catheter in, it's in your abdomen, and still wasn't ready to use it yet. And so, about, like I said, 9 years ago, I started feeling very tired. I just had no energy at all. At work, I could barely walk down the hallway without losing breath, having to, stop and take a few minutes to regain my energy to continue where I was going. And I would sleep for hours. I would get home from work, no dinner or anything like that. I need to take a nap, but then I would wake up the next morning. And so a couple of times my husband was like, you need to wake up. You need to eat something and things like that. And I'm like, no, I'm just too tired. I don't even want to eat anything. I was just exhausted. I mean, I felt exhausted. And so I went back to the doctor and they said, yeah, so we need to go ahead and start you on PD. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was scared to do that also because it's done at home. The only difference between PD and hemo is that there's no blood involved. And so
Okay.
that made me feel better because I didn't want to have to deal with blood and the big needles and things like that with hemo. And so my husband and I had to go to training to do PD. I think that lasted about 3 weeks or something like that. That they trained us, showed us how to do it, and then we had to show them how we did it without
Learn how to
any
do it.
interaction from them at all. And so we kind of looking at them like, did we do it right? So every step we like looking, and they didn't say anything. They're like, keep going, keep going. And so a couple of things we forgot because between every step you have to wash your hands. So,
Okay.
okay, wash your hands after you did this. Wash your hands after you did that. I mean, it was already like 10 steps that we had to make. So we had to wash our hands each time. He did and I did, regardless if I had something in my hands or not. So we both had to wash our hands each time. So a couple of times we forgot to wash our hands, and so they kept, reiterating. So they wouldn't let us say we were finished until we did everything correctly at least twice. And
Mm-hmm.
so the first time they came out to the house to help us and just want to make sure that we did it right at home. And we did. And so I think with PD, you have to do it every night. And it's
Oh wow.
while you sleep. And so I would go to bed. I had to time it that if I need to be up for work at 7 o'clock or 6:30, this is the time that the latest that I need to be hooked up. And
Mm-hmm.
so we had to adhere to that schedule. On the weekends, of course, it was a little different because I had, Saturday mornings I can sleep late, Sunday mornings I can, sleep in a little later. So I had some flexibility with the weekends. And so we got it down to a routine, but I didn't sleep, I don't think, the first week. I was just watching the machine and just nervous that something was going to go wrong and, things like that. So I didn't sleep at all for that first week. Um, and there were complications. The machine sometimes you have a blockage somewhere, and then when they had a blockage, I've had to start the process all over again. And
Oh wow.
it could be 1 o'clock in the morning, and if you can't figure out what it is to adjust it, you have to start all over. And so they had a 24-hour line that I would call and say, this is what's going on, and they'll give us some tips to do. And if that didn't work, like I said, we have to start all over the process. And so that didn't happen as much, but it happened enough to where I was like, okay, let me make sure everything is correct. Sometimes it'd be a kink in the line, like if I turned over to sleep and I accidentally, had the line underneath me and it caused a blockage like that.
Okay.
So those were the main issues. Because PD is every day is kinder to your body. It's
Mm.
in regarding hemo because they pull off more in a shorter period of time. And I
Okay.
also had some flexibility as far as liquids that I could drink. I was a
Oh,
big, yeah, big water drinker, and
okay.
so with dialysis, you have to limit your fluids, water, and the fluids that are in food. So you have to, jot down everything, how much water content it has in it. And so for me, I didn't bring my cup in here. Oh yes, I did. But this is a smaller Yeti cup. I have a bigger one, but
Okay.
this I think is, I don't know if it's 20 ounces or not, but maybe one and a half of these is all I could have for the entire day. And so
Back then.
yeah, while on dialysis, this is
Okay.
it. And I usually drink about four of these at work. One on the
Okay.
way to work, and one on the way home, and about two before I go to bed. And so now, because we have to stay hydrated,
Mm-hmm.
you have to stay hydrated now. But on dialysis, you can't be have that water weight on
Right.
it. Um,
Right.
so now, like I said, I drink a lot because you can't be dehydrated. That can cause kidney failure. And so I was on dialysis for a year and a half. I
Okay.
listed at the University of at Duke University, um,
Oh,
Medical College of Georgia, and MUSC in Charleston, South Carolina. And
okay.
so I was on all three lists because they were all within driving distance, like less than 2 hours. And so, because they don't want you to have to travel too far, because when they call you, they want you to come like right now.
Right.
And
Right.
so, I was listed all three places. You'll get the phone ring, and I see it's from one in the hospital. I'm all excited, getting nervous, and they're like, "Oh, we're just calling to see how you're doing." I'm like, "Really? Stop doing that." I'm fine. So that would be the call that I didn't want to get because I'm thinking I'm getting the call. And
Right.
so,
Right.
I had a couple of those calls and nothing. And so right at the year and a half mark, I was actually at physical therapy. I had some ankle surgery, and they called me, and so I missed the call going from the car into physical therapy. And I just had to put my phone down somewhere and just focusing on therapy. And my phone rang, and I heard it that time. I said, let me see who's this calling me. And it was them. And I'm thinking, okay,
Okay.
they're calling me, just checking on me, that kind of thing. And they said, we have a kidney for you. How soon can you get here? And I just kind of like was in shock. I just kind of
Okay.
stood there, and the therapist was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes." And I just started crying. They calling me for my kidney. I'm getting emotional. And so they calling me for my kidney. And they're like, "Oh, you got to go. You got to go." So my,
Right.
my
Right.
job was right across the street from the physical therapy office. And I already had my paperwork filled out. I had it with the secretary saying that, you'll have this just in case I get the call. All I have to do is date it, because I
Right.
couldn't put the date on it. So they were still at work. So I drove right across the street. I had to run to the building because I had to get all the way up there. I had energy this day. And so I
Oh,
had to run. I had
oh,
to run.
your bad ankle.
Yes, I had energy. And so when I came, the secretary and my supervisor were still there. And it's like, what are you doing back here? And so of course I'm crying and can't talk and telling them about my kidney. And so she's like, oh, I have your papers right here. She's like, I keep them right here. And so I signed the papers. My husband at the time, he also worked there, and I called him, telling him, you need to get home. They called you now, leave now. And so my bag had been packed and ready for a while, and so
Hmm.
it was just ready. My great aunt was living with us at the time.
Hmm.
My aunt Irene, she was living with us at the time. And so I had already told the adult daycare center where she works that this is a possibility and I need to have respite in place for her, like that she can just go. And
Okay.
so I called this is all on my way home. And I'm calling my mama, my grandma, my sister. I'm calling everybody saying I got the call.
Everybody.
And then I'm
Okay.
calling them saying, got the call. I need her in respite tomorrow. And they said, okay, we'll take care of it. Called the aide that was coming to the house to get her ready. I said, I need you to come and see if can you spend the night because she needs to get ready um, in the morning. Okay,
Hmm.
to go and pack her bags and all that kind of stuff. She said, sure, no problem, I'll do that. Called my neighbor and said, she's gonna be home at this time. Can you keep her at your house until the aide comes? I worked at everything before I got to the house. And so I made probably a million phone calls. And so on my way home. And so I'm home and I'm ready. And then like, where is he? Where's my husband? I'm calling him. He's just leaving work. And I'm like, what? You're supposed to be here. And so when
Right.
he gets home, he has to pack his bag. And I'm like, really? All of this should have been done. So
Right.
we
Right.
get in the car. It's like an hour, a little over an hour drive.
Okay.
And they call and say, where are you? That type of thing. And I told
Mm-hmm.
them that we were on our way, how much farther it was. They said, okay, we're going to go ahead and do the person who's getting the other kidney. And so go
Oh.
ahead and just take your time because we'll do yours in the morning now. I was like, okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so we kind of didn't rush as much as we were to get there because we knew that I was now going to be the next morning. And
Yeah.
so got there, they checked me in, they did everything, and said that of course it's going to be tomorrow morning and things like that. So again, I'm still making phone calls. I went on Facebook and say I got the call. I'm here at
Oh,
MUSC.
how was that?
Plant.
Like how I know your emotions and your adrenaline and Tony
Mhm.
said, oh yeah, she was prepared. Yeah,
I
Tanya is a boss. She is a boss.
I was
Everything is
ready.
gonna be in order, okay? Everything. She has moved so many times, but she's just a pro at it now
Oh, this
because
one I'm not moving again, but yes.
she's not moving anymore, but she is a boss when it comes to just getting everything together. And I hope everybody is listening to what she's saying. Hey, I'm prepared. If it's time
Hmm.
to go, let's pack this bag
Yes,
and
it's
let's do it
bad.
like somebody being pregnant. That water break, you got to go.
That's right.
So
Oh,
she is ready.
then I had my little dog Sam.
Oh,
Sam.
Pam,
I had
yes.
Sam, so his babysitter was on call too, because she knew
Wow.
that when I made the call, hey, his stuff is packed. Just come pick him up. And
Okay.
so she did. She came and got him that evening and got him taken care of. So I had my aunt taken care of. I had my dog taken care of, and everything was ready. And
Yeah.
so calling everybody on the way there, just everybody in my family, everybody I could think of, even though I put it on Facebook, I'm reading Facebook messages all the way there too. Everybody's praying for the surgery. And
Mhm.
so they did the surgery. I woke up, I think I felt like I woke up 2 days later
Yeah.
because anesthesia for me it takes a long time for me to wake up.
Oh wow.
Even though they say that I was in and out, I didn't know it. I didn't recognize.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so I remember asking them what day it was, and they told me, and I'm like, well, what happened to the day after the surgery? And they're like, well,
Uh-huh.
you were in and out, but you did wake up. This is not your first time waking up, but this is all you remember because I was now fully coming out of it.
Okay.
So I tell you what though, they wanted me up and walking, and I'm like, I can't do it. But
Right.
after any major surgery, they want you to walk. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
I walked around the room a little bit, and each day further and further, and there's a bell that you ring that's down the hall, and I had to make it down that hall to ring the bell. So I think it took me maybe 4 days to make it all the way down there because
Okay.
I would get close and I'm like, I can't go any further. And
Mhm.
so they would have the wheelchair like to take me back to the room because I couldn't walk back. And
Okay.
so I think on that fourth day, I was able to ring the bell. And everybody's there to cheer you on when you ring the bell. And so it was exciting to be able to finally make it there.
Yeah.
Um, and so I stayed in the hospital for I think about 6 days, something like that.
Okay. Okay.
And MUSC has a transplant hotel
Right.
that's right
Mhm.
across the street from the hospital. And
Okay.
so went to the transplant hotel. A nurse came to see me every day to check on things. I did have an area of a time that when I went to the bathroom, there was a lot of blood. And so I had
Okay.
to go back to the hospital and was admitted again
Okay.
um, to deal with that. I think I was back there for 2 days
Okay.
and then went back to the hotel. And nurse came, every day to check on me, things like that. They were trying to get me to eat because I didn't have an appetite.
Okay.
I just didn't have an appetite at all. Everything didn't have a taste to it, with the tube down your throat, and it takes time
Yeah. Yeah.
for it to feel good to even want to eat anything. And so the nurse is like, you got to eat, you got to eat, you got to drink, drink, drink now because you got to hydrate that kidney because you don't want it to become dehydrated because it would
Right.
go into rejection. And so that part went well. But then back to the beginning, when I got on the list, they asked, do you have any people who want to get tested for you? Family members who might have the same blood type or close blood type, things like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
had family and friends tested, and they found out that I had high antibodies. And they asked me, "Have you had a blood transfusion or anything like that?" I'm like, "No." I called my mom. I was like, "Did I have a blood transfusion at any time?" And she said no. And so they said that with high antibodies and my blood type was B positive, it was
Mm-hmm.
harder for me to get a kidney, and that's
Oh
why it took
wow.
it. Even though I was on dialysis for a year and a half, I had been on the transplant list for 6 years.
Oh wow.
And so it
Okay.
took that long for me to get an actual kidney. Even though I've been
Mm-hmm.
on the list for 6 years, I only needed the dialysis for a year and a half. And so
Okay.
my sister, her blood was a match, but my antibodies killed it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so if they
Mm-hmm.
would have transplanted her kidney, it would have died as soon as it went in.
Oh
So
wow.
yes, and so that's why they asked me had I had a blood transfusion, meaning you got somebody else's blood in your body, that
Mm-hmm.
comes in. And so no, nothing like that. And then some people were tested, and from me having people tested from me, they found out that they had some kidney function issues,
Oh wow.
and that they needed to be followed by a nephrologist.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so I had two people who found that out about that.
Wow.
So no one who had ever had high blood pressure or diabetes could be tested because they can't give a transplant because diabetes and high blood pressure can cause kidney function damage,
Mm-hmm.
can cause kidney
Mm-hmm.
damage. And so they
Mm-hmm.
weren't eligible to do a transplant either. I had
Mm-hmm.
people who had high blood pressure, diabetes, high blood pressure mainly, and they had been years ago. They were off meds. They didn't have high blood pressure anymore, but it can come back, and they were excluded. And
They
so
were?
yeah, because they said the high blood pressure could come back, and so anybody who had it at any time in their lives couldn't do it, um,
Wow.
because they
Okay.
can go into kidney failure themselves, and they can't
Okay.
have one kidney. And
Okay.
so
Wow.
so I had a lot of people that were um, tested.
So
So
I
I
have a question, especially for the audience. How many of you all know that or knew that? And the better question would be, how many of you all know that you have high blood pressure? You
mhm,
know, because we are asking, people, hey, become an organ donor, but you got to know how good your own system is to know that if you will even be eligible.
mhm,
I recently found out that my uncle only has one kidney, and he told me. I said, "Excuse me, what?" Because it's not a conversation at the family reunion or
yes,
at the dinner tables. In our community. So I urge you all, make sure that you get tested, find out, your health. Find out about your health and get tested. Get your what we call them physicals,
that's
especially men. I know Tony and Emmett and all of the other men, especially men of Transplant Talk, would say all the time, "Hey man, y'all go get tested."
mhm,
Mr. Sawyer as well. Larry always say, "Y'all make sure y'all get tested." So y'all hear what Tanya's saying. So she's giving
yes,
us more information and why it's so important for you to get tested. And you all hear what she said. She's basically giving you a blueprint or a map on what to do. So make sure y'all watch this a few times, please.
yes. And also, what helped me with my transplant, even though I got a cadaver transplant,
Okay.
can, can,
Okay.
I- can I skip 1 second here? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, what she said, I found out I had issues based on checking because my father-in-law, we really don't understand how even
I'm
Tylenol
sorry.
anymore.
I apologize. I forgot to leave the door unlocked for someone.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
what helped me also, Facebook has where you can do like help Tanya find a kidney, which is what I
Mm-hmm.
did on Facebook. I set up a
Mm-hmm.
page. A woman that I met on Facebook, she had a billboard,
Yes.
and that's how she got her kidney. And she called me and she reached out to me on Facebook. She said, I have my kidney already, but I still have time on this billboard, and I want to donate the rest of the time to you.
Oh,
And she
wow.
did. So I had a billboard, and I meant to pull up a picture that said Tanya needs a kidney,
Oh,
and it
wow.
listed my blood type, and it listed who to contact as far as things like that goes. And
Okay.
then from the billboard, the local news station in Columbia reached out to me to do a story on me. on the
Okay.
news.
Okay.
So I had a lot of
Okay.
exposure. So I was on the news. I had the billboard, and I was working with the National Kidney Foundation for years. I've always
Mm-hmm.
donated to them, even before dialysis and even before transplant, things like that, because I know how much it can cost some people
Mm-hmm.
who don't have good insurance, to have to fundraise for transplants and medications and things like that. And so I've
Absolutely.
always donated to the local and the National Kidney Foundation.
Okay.
I was one of the recipients of the National Kidney Foundation Columbia. Um, we had a gala, which was a fundraiser, and I was one of the award recipients as a transplant person. And
Okay.
so I've always advocated for dialysis and making sure people know their kidney function. Like I said, I presented on kidney disease and what levels to ask the doctors about when you see the doctor, because kidney disease is a silent disease. Lots of times you have no symptoms at all
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why you have a lot of elderly people who are on dialysis. Another thing with, like you said, the Latino, Black American community, we don't want to give up organs.
No.
you know,
No.
I'm taking everything God gave me back with me. You know,
Right.
and it's like, no, that's not doing any good in the ground. You need,
Right.
give it to somebody who can use it. And so,
Absolutely.
but that's one of the things that, one of the things that the Black community, especially because of all of the um, concerns about treatment and what they do to us and things like that, that we
Mm-hmm.
don't do donation. And so I
Right.
didn't get a living donation, a living kidney. I got a cadaver, and so which they say doesn't last as long. Of course, a
Mm-hmm.
living kidney lives longer, but
Right.
I'm confident and with the Lord that this is going to be it for me.
Okay. Okay.
And I've seen some people on the Facebook group, because I'm in two different kidney groups on Facebook. One
Mm-hmm.
guy just celebrated his 40-year anniversary with his kidney.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
30, 35, 40 years, things like
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
so I'm just claiming it.
Yeah.
I'm claiming that mine is going to be that long too. And
Absolutely.
so I take care of myself after transplant. It's very important to take care of yourself, to eat right, make sure you get that water intake in. Um,
Right.
I'm not good with my exercise, which I got to get back on it, because that's very
Okay.
important. The doctor asks me that all the time. What exercise have you been doing? And I'm like, well, not too much.
Not too much.
I got to start. I got an exercise room now. Everything's in there. I just got to go over
Okay.
there and do something. And
Okay.
so, but that's very important also. Just keeping yourself in shape the best way that you can, eating the right foods, not a lot of protein. I've never been a really big meat eater, but
Mm-hmm.
when you're on dialysis, they want you to have a lot of protein. Protein, protein, protein. So I had to do a lot of protein bars, protein
Mm-hmm.
shakes, because I don't eat beef, don't eat pork. So I had to get all of that protein in the best way I could. And
Okay.
so now that I'm transplant patient, we can't have a lot of protein.
Okay.
Limit the protein. And so
Right.
I wanted to be clear. So I asked my doctor every once a year, I say, okay, how much protein am I supposed to have?
Mm-hmm.
And they really don't want you to have, my doctor, I don't know what anybody else's doctor might say. My doctor says he doesn't want me to have more than 40 grams of protein a day.
Wow.
And so
Okay.
my protein drinks are like 20. So if I have a
Yeah.
protein drink today, okay, now
That's
I know I
fine.
can only have 40 more
Right.
grams of protein,
Right.
not
So
go over.
okay.
And so
So you
I
can only have one drink, one protein
one
shake.
protein, and I don't do it every day now, because I know
Okay.
that if I have something for breakfast that has protein in it, like some eggs or something like that, or turkey sausage, okay, I know that's protein. If I have
Mm-hmm.
anything for lunch, that's protein. So for dinner, I might not have any protein, but a little
Okay.
bit. I'll eat more of like my some beans, you know, that are healthy, lentils, things like that, vegetables,
Okay.
where it doesn't have to have a lot of protein in it, because I've already gotten my protein for that day already, and I can't go
Okay.
over. Now he said if you do 60 one day, the next day you might need to do 30.
Make it easy.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you don't want
So
that kidney to work so much to get that protein out.
Right,
And so you
right.
have to watch that. I did get a.
So
Go ahead.
so let me ask you about, now, because again, I don't want to hold everybody
Mhm.
long. We have everybody is loving. If you go back and look, they're loving all of this information that you're
Okay.
giving them.
Okay. Well,
They
I'm
are
glad.
absolutely loving it.
Okay.
And you're educating everybody today.
Oh yeah, I'm
The
a kid. I advocate and educate.
Yeah, the now with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know how COVID, and everybody, like, we know organ donation is kind of just like COVID. No, everybody don't want to get
Yes.
the vaccine. But how are you doing with COVID and your medications? Do you have the same amount of medication that you were taking back then that you are now, or what's your regimen?
Well, I take about 6 different medications a day.
Okay.
And some of those different medications I take multiple of, like two of this one, three of that one, and including that six. So I might take about 12 pills at one time.
Okay.
A
Okay.
little less at night.
Okay.
And so, and don't miss any medications because that can, slowly cause rejection if you miss medications. Now I have missed medications that at night, like I said, if I come home and I'm just tired and I go to
Exactly.
sleep, I
Yeah.
didn't take it. So
Yeah.
they don't mind that. Then you make sure you take your next dose, but not to say I'm not. I missed 3 days this week of medication. No, you
No.
can't do
No.
that at all.
Right.
And I did get a transplant virus, the BK virus, that only for kidney transplant people that you can get. And it's not anything that I did. It's just it can happen to anybody. It's the BK virus, and then they have the CMV virus. I think CMV, CMP. I think it's two different ones that you can
Okay.
get. And so that virus can actually cause rejection. And what they do is adjust your medications.
Okay.
While they're
Wow.
while they're adjusting your medications, that can also cause rejection. And so they monitor your labs. So I get labs done every 8 weeks. Just look at my levels, um,
Hmm.
and look at my medication levels. And
Hmm.
when I first moved here to Jacksonville, I got a transplant nephrologist. But when I talked to the MUSC where I had my transplant, they want me to go to Mayo Clinic.
Right.
So I have to transfer to the Mayo Clinic now.
Okay.
But that's where they do transplants here. And
Right.
so I need to schedule that appointment with them. I did get the vaccine and I got the
Mhm.
booster also.
Okay.
Highly encourage us to do that, just like anyone else. But what's different with us as transplant is our immune system is so compromised that they hope the booster really works for us
Mhm.
because we didn't develop any antibodies
Right.
with the
Right.
vaccine because
Okay.
the immune system is so compromised. Some people might have, but I didn't develop any antibodies.
Okay.
Some other people
Okay.
that I know didn't get any antibodies either. And
Okay.
so that's why they let us get the booster early, hoping that we would gain antibodies because just like regular people who might not have had any health problems that have died from COVID, we have an increased risk of dying from it also.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. And I
Mhm.
know there's always a big mask debate. But I still encourage everyone to wear their mask. People that have received transplants are still here, and they need to be protected from, be protected from everyone as well. So as much as you can, please make sure that you wear your mask. I hear people say masks don't help. Well, a lot of people that I know that have received transplants have wore their mask and they're still here, haven't
Mhm.
you know haven't really had any problems because they are protecting themselves. So if you need to ask somebody if a mask work, look at all of these people that have
Mhm.
received organ donors and ask them
Yeah.
if their mask work. And if you've received a transplant, go ahead and let me know if your mask worked in the comments. We just want people to
Mhm.
see that they do work. So I don't know what's wrong with
Yeah.
these people. I ain't calling no names, but these people crazy.
you,
So
you know
everybody needs,
me. You know when
yeah,
you see me, Naishanda, I have my mask and my shield on.
yeah. She doubled up, y'all. She's
I am.
doubled up. So when you have the gift of life, you want to do everything in your power to preserve that because you don't want to have to go through that again. She said how long she was on the transplant list and how long she had to wait. So please make sure that that you make that. Yes, thank you. Hey girl. Yes, mass work. So you all are hearing it from them. People that have received, that's a Tamara is a kidney recipient as well. So masks are working. So I just want us to, because I know we're running a little late, but it's such good information. How can you be upset with all of this good information? Yes, mind work. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, sir. Yes, and that is a living recipient. So he's saying his math work.
Yes.
So to anybody else out here right now, Tanya, that is saying, I don't care what they say, I'm not going to be registered to become an organ donor. And y'all could just go on with that. How could we encourage them to become an organ donor?
No, always when I was asking people about it, I said, you can live a healthy life with one kidney,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't take away from your health, your vitality, or anything else like that. Use your spare is what the T-shirt says.
Yes,
Share your spare because you can live
yes,
with one, and in that that this is a safe procedure. People who are donors have less hospital time and less recovery time than people who have transplants. So they're able to go back to work earlier, things
yeah,
like that. And so it doesn't really take a lot out of them to have the surgery. And living donation is the best donation.
yes.
It's the best for someone to have a healthier life and to have a long life with that kidney. Like I said, 40 years. Can you imagine?
Mm-hmm.
40 years with a living kidney. And that's a blessing. It really is
Yeah,
a blessing. So share your
absolutely.
spare. Tell everyone to share your spare.
Yes, yes,
That spare
yes,
kidney. And I
yes.
always applaud people who say, I got tested, or even those who say, I wish I could, but I can't. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't, if somebody said, no, I can't do it, hey, it didn't hurt my feelings at
Mm-hmm.
all for them to
Mm-hmm.
say that they just couldn't do it. But if anything else you need for support, I can do that.
Absolutely.
Because everyone has a choice to make from themselves. And I never got upset with anyone who said they couldn't do it.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, you all have heard it from the boss herself. Okay. Miss Tanya Felicia, she's here. I'm so grateful. And this has been a long time coming and it was overdue. But this was the right time for her
Yeah.
to be on the show and give this information. My first show back for the fall season.
Yes.
So again, I am so grateful for you. Thank you for educating this audience,
And thank you all for listening in, and thank you for having me on the show.
and you are welcome. And they wanted to know again how to get the book. So
The
can
book.
you?
So if you go to my email, which is Tonya Hart 4069 at yahoo.com, send me an
Mhm,
email and let me know that you want to purchase a book. This is a compilation book, like I said, and there are about 7 of us in the book, 7 or 8 of us telling our stories from different perspectives. And the books are $12, and I will mail them out to you if you are not local, or even if you are local because of COVID. I'll mail them out to you with no extra charge. So
okay.
$12 per book. And like I said, it's this something that happens to women being fatherless,
Mhm.
and how it affects our self-esteem, the love that we have ourselves, our self-confidence. All of that affects young girls and women. So
They
you'll
could
get a lot of
give us that email again because I want to make sure I put it in here.
okay, Tonya Hart
Uh-huh.
4069 at yahoo.com.
40.
69
Okay.
at yahoo.com. And thank you, everyone.
All right. So we are going to just put this up there. Tanya Hart.
Nope, nope. 4069.
Say that again.
4069.
Oh, hold on, y'all. Let me
Yes.
make sure I
Yes.
I fix it right.
Yes. Tanya Hart
40.
4069
4069. Yes,
at
ma'am.
yahoo.com. And I
And
did
yeah.
that. I created that when I was 40. I'm 52 now.
Oh, and don't you look good? Like y'all know black don't crack for real.
Oh goodness. Yes. That was 12 years ago when I did that one. So yes.
Okay, so listen, y'all. Here you go. You want information on the book and how to get it. Here's the information here. And thank you all again for just oh, Century girl. This is why I love you. This is why I love you. Thank you so much. They asked, do you have a cash app?
I do. Yes, I do. And that's $ Sam's mom 10. Let me make sure. 'Cause I don't want you to send it to somebody else.
Right, right. That'd be
Yeah,
right.
it's, yes, Sam's $capital S Sam's mom 10. SAMSMOM 10.
That's the cash out.
Yes.
All right.
And I will get those out in the mail
Let me
this
make
week.
sure this one right. Sam's mom 10. That's
Yep.
cash out. All right. So you all want, and that's $12. The book
Yes.
is $12. All right. So the book is $12. Please get that for those um for those young ladies that you know that aren't there. Those
And I think also for men to read it, it gives them a
yeah.
little insight into to women who grew
Mm-hmm.
up fatherless, as far as sometimes some of the behaviors and things that they like, this woman got issues or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Right.
that's what overcome these issues. You get a better insight into what we have been through sometimes as far as being fatherless. Because it's just not women. Men who are fatherless go through their issues also, because
Absolutely.
men, as far as that same issue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's all true. I actually heard a story about how young men actually need the love and affection and hugs by their father. They need a Christian man that is in the community that is working with them so that they have role models. But that's a whole nother show.
Yes.
Okay. That's a whole nother show. And everyone, again, I thank you. Yes, Tony, we're gonna get together on that. I gotta get a final count for this
Yes, I'm excited about it.
I know, y'all. We look, Transplant Talk is coming big, and we're gonna end 2021 off right. We're gonna start 2020 off right as well. I know, honestly, this has been one hell of a year for me. It's been one hell of a year. But we're gonna keep it moving. Again, thank you all for watching Transplant Talk with Naishanda. Yes, I cannot wait to see everyone next
Yeah.
week. And if y'all are coming, we just got to get a final count so I know. What to tell people and make sure that we have a good location. So until next week,
Yes.
guys, thank you all again. In
Thank
all
you.
that you do, get educated and get some understanding. You know what? And tell somebody that you love them because we all need love because life is so short. Life
Yes.
is so short. So thank you. And Tanya, stay right there. Thank
Okay.
y'all.